Hey, what's going on, good people? It's author Chauncey Taylor. As an author, it's a pleasure to present you all with information that can be used to pretty much describe who I am as a person and or as an author. There is no argument that anyone can use to dispute the fact of how far you can go to write information. I just want everybody to reflect on something right quick. And I'll be coming from my sixth book, Daily but Pivotal Moments, God's Plan Never Fail, right? A lot of people do not take the time to consider how critical life has been throughout the course of the previous years, right? Considering such, I think that if you were to do an evaluation on your life, what would you have to say? Or what would you think about your current circumstances? Chapter 1, images turned into reflections. Take a moment to reflect on the way your parents raised you from a child. Analyze how much you have been through by conducting an evaluation from then until now. Look at the current results and ask yourself, was it worth it? See, a lot of us look at life like it's a lick, right? We want an easy fix for permanent problems. Temporary solutions would only solve so much. It would only get you so far, right? Money. Money might pay your bills. Money might buy you things. Money might feed you and keep your utilities paid and a roof over your head. However, money will not be able to solve those internal issues, not so much on the inside of you, but inside your home. And I just want everybody to know that as a practitioner and student of human and social services, I would like to provide you all with some advice in reference to looking for temporary solutions. And that's the topic of this live. Breaking the mold on temporary solutions for permanent problems. So, breaking the mold for temporary solutions for permanent problems, I feel as if a lot of individuals need to do this evaluation right here. When you were young and your mother and your father, or maybe it was your mother or your father, raised you, and the principles they instilled within you from a child, it may not have resonated with you then, but I'm pretty sure it resonates with you now that you are currently being confronted with day-to-day circumstances that they was being confronted with when you were a child. Throughout the course of my evaluation, I was able to take a few steps back and look at myself from afar. It's almost as if I had an out-of-body experience, but from a spiritual perspective. Being more conscientious and aware of my actions, my behavior, my characteristics, I had to learn how to tap in to my inner ability of being able to restructure self, which is my last video. Once I restructured self, I was able to do another evaluation on the way that I thought, right? I had to restructure my conditions. Now I got to analyze the way I think, right? And once I done that, I looked at how my mother was able to instill the principles within me from a child on how to carry myself in the general public. So I was in boot camp. I was in training as a child, as your kids should be in training with you. Yes. You know, once we discover the power we possess over our kids, it's not to manipulate them or convince them to believe that they're anything other than what your parents made you believe about yourself. And I'm pretty sure that neither one of us were disrespected by our parents unless we put ourselves in a position to be respected by our parents or disrespected by our parents, right? So being disrespected by a parent would be triggered by disobedient behavior. If You are a rebellious child, and your parent is doing the best that he or she could to embed a formulated structure of guidance into the curriculum of your daily function. Why would you rebel against that, right? And that's another thing. A lot of us abandon spirituality because some of the rules and regulations that God set for humanity is hard to abide by, and I understand that. I fight myself every day. The thrill of the chase is a temporary feeling. You can look at Nat Geo Wild. When that ferocious animal hunt down that vulnerable creature, the predator hovers over the prey to kill it. First, it chases, subdues it, and once it subdues it, it annihilates, right? So once that creature, that predator annihilates, right? And I'll put it in human terms. Once we captivate ourselves with that temporary sense of pleasure, and it's all over, that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was, is over. Now it's, where do we go from here? But I don't think anyone is thinking about the next process that needs to take place. Now that that's taken place, what's next? What should we do, or where should we go from here? All right. So reflecting on how you were raised and where you are right now, was it really worth it, right? And that could be categorized in many different facets, many different brackets, right? I could say what I just said. That was a scenario to break down the terminology of making my point, to which I'll read further for you guys to fully understand what it is I'm trying to say in the book. Do you somehow feel connected to the purpose of what you are currently involved with? So what are you doing that actually coincides with what you was taught or how you was raised and what you are currently involved with right now? Does it somehow identify with your purpose? Or have you even found out what your purpose really is? Question. All right, so questions need answers, just as problems require solutions. In most cases, we find ourselves blaming others. I'll come back to that. Let me read the rest of it. When we should hold ourselves accountable, right? Accountability. Back to that again. Pointing the finger at another person will not resolve the issues that exist between you and yourself. My point exactly. Go to church, come home, problems are still there. If you don't fully vindicate yourself or exonerate yourself from being internally convicted, right? Holding on to the past is not going to free you to enjoy the rest of your life. So you have to let go of some things after you have felt the full measure of condemnation. And once you confront previous situations, right, it's almost like getting the skeletons out your closet. And this is all terminology used to categorize the topic of a conversation that's important. Because a lot of us have a hard time confronting ourselves when we confront other people, right? Gossip, shoo, talk behind each other, backbiting, backstabbers. So my thing is solution. What are the solutions that we could use to help bring resolve to us? Because it's easy to say, he did it, she did it, right? And it's common. When you meet a new female, or if a woman was to meet another man, right? Everybody always blame the other person. It's a common thing. It's a common thing. It's almost as if it's a repetitive, behavior. And it goes back to what I said and what I studied. It's common. Human and social services, provides me with the application of science to diagnose the proper analysis of an assessment from a person that may not understand being caught up in the midst of being defined by denial. Denial, right? We deny a lot of things about ourselves that we see in other people. We'll criticize somebody else. We'll chastise our children. Yet, we take the initiative to chastise ourselves, right? So holding ourselves accountable is very important. And I think that it's significant that we take the time to dissect that analysis with information. And I'll continue to read. It says that God can prevent the worst from happening, but he would rather you face it and endure no matter how complicated the circumstances may be. Preparing yourself to confront the worst case scenario will only bring out the greatest aspect of your full potential. Whenever you are faced with an adverse or controversial moment, exercise humility at all costs. The troublesome days of our youth left us all exposed to the discovery of different channels. Get it? Discovery of different channels. All right. I believe in a God that can do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think. Ephesians 3:20. From the time a man is born, detrimental circumstances await us. Right? So a lot of things that we face in life naturally happens. How they said, things happen. And things do take place. A man that's born of a woman, his days is full of trouble. We naturally go through things. Why put yourself through extra things that you don't even have to suffer? Solution. So instead of feeding the problem, look for solutions ultimately, because this would alleviate you and vindicate you from pointing the finger at other people. No one's responsible for your current situation. No one's responsible for your conditions. And the bailout plan, right? So we have to get rid of this enigma in the back of our mind that we believe someone is actually going to come and save us from the pits of ignorance. Because some of us, we always learning, but we never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. What is the truth? The truth shall set you free. What is the truth? Who did what? Who's responsible? When a police officer stopped an individual doing a routine traffic stop, or whenever a police or law enforcement is called out to a domestic situation, there's questions that's going to be asked to you that you have to answer, right? In a routine traffic stop, he might ask for license and registration. If he identifies body language or any type of motion that indicates a threat, he's on the defense. Because you've given me an indication now that you're guilty about something. And all I did was stop you. Because of reason of suspicion. Now you making me believe that you are suspicious. And you could possibly be a suspect. That's where those words come from. He's suspect. She's suspect. Right? So identifying behavior is something that I do. I identify this. When a law enforcement officer is called out to a domestic situation, what does the officer do when he first arrives? Okay, ma'am, stand over here. Okay, sir, come over here. One of them will go over here and talk to her. One of them go talk to him. You want to get both sides of the story. See how the truth pans out. Right? So let's combine these stories. It's almost like writing a compare and contrast essay, because somebody gonna lie and somebody gonna play the victim. Nobody gonna be the suspect. Oh, I didn't. Nobody ever. When the police pull up on the scene, nobody, and I ain't gonna lie, I could talk about my charge because I've been convicted. When those people got me out of that house, I told them, I said, man, whatever y'all find in here, that's mine. Because I didn't want my daughter mom to go to jail. To me, that's what you call a real nigga. When you willing to take a downfall and don't want anyone else to be held accountable for your actions. So this is a call to individuals taking accountability. Stop looking for temporary solutions for permanent problems. Temporary solutions is something that can be characterized as getting high. I know one thing, if you take a hit off that weed right now, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, you're going to come right back down, you're going to need another puff. Right? So, sensation, pleasure, all this stuff is temporary. Everything in this world is temporary. When you eat food, right, you pass that. That comes out. Nothing is meant to be held on to forever. So you have to get rid of those mentalities. You have to get rid of those characteristics. You have to start confronting and be intentional about it. Confront yourself, right? And stop blaming other people. My name is Arthur Chauncey Taylor. I'm out of time. It's always great to get on and speak with you guys, but this is daily but pivotal moments. God's plan never fails. It's a man that sold drugs, shot people, did all kind of stuff on the street, done drugs. I never shot drugs, but I did do heroin and coke. Snorted it up my nostrils. And I was homeless. I've been in a bad marriage. I've had a few jobs I didn't like working. I didn't want to get up and go to work, but I still did it because I had to live and survive. So it doesn't matter how hard it gets, you still have to put in the work to get things done. You got to sustain life. Don't give up. Don't quit. Always persevere through anything you go through, right? If you haven't had a chance to get any of the material I have on Amazon, please do so today. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. These books are guides. These books are informative. And it's sufficient information to help you get to wherever it is you're trying to go in your life, right? So, question. Is my life relative to the purpose that I was trained to do when I was a kid? You guys have a great day.